All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this amazing edition of an Empowercast of Live Exceptional. I'm so excited because we're going global today. We're going all the way to the other side of the world, and we're talking to my very, very, very good friend, Alex T. Steffen. Welcome to Empowercast and Live Exceptional.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, and I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.
Alex is a wonderful friend of mine, and we met a few years ago, and he just has the most amazing attitude, the most wonderful disposition. And over the years, I've been hanging out with him and watching him, and he really is living exceptional. He's in this age category, a little bit younger than me, but for that group of people, I just watch them grooving and shaking and making things happen. And I think, wow, I don't want to say how old you are because I don't even know, but for what I consider to be younger than me, he's so got it together and he's living exceptional. But some of the things I want to say, and this is what I talk to all my clients about, what's the 3 things you did this year that were exceptional? And Alex shared with me that he's a best-selling author on Amazon, that he has built a top-level mastermind program, and that he's the most viewed writer on Quora and LinkedIn. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Very, very exceptional. And the second key piece that I love to ask my attendees is, what's your mission, or what are you up to in the world? And Alex shared with me this morning to make a transformational and joyful experience for leaders and their organizations. So you're doing some pretty amazing stuff out there, sir.
Thank you.
So I'm
trying my best.
I'm gonna put you right on the hot seat. So we want to talk about living exceptional. So why don't you tell us right now where you are?
I am in Gran Canaria. That's an island that belongs to Spain, but it's actually level with the Sahara. It's actually very close to Morocco and to Western Sahara. And it's one of the islands of the Canary Islands. So you've probably heard of it as that. And it's a beautiful climate zone. So it's very easy to have a good time here. It's very cool to do adventures here. Events and go with friends. I've been here a bunch of times with my brother, with friends, and just take advantage of the amazing nature, and also the island vibe. Not every place has this vibe of relaxedness, but also a beautiful place, right, to be in.
Okay, well, do the little pan. Show us a little bit of how amazing it is. Turn your camera around.
Sure.
Everyone can see how fabulous.
I'm gonna go around. I'm right by the promenade. You can see the surfers right in front of me, and the rocks in the distance. The sea is very calm right now, so a lot of these surfers are waiting for for the evening high tide, and this is a phenomenal place. So literally, I'm here with friends sometimes, and we would see how the waves are. And then we'd hang out in places like this one here. It's just kind of like a little bar cafe area. And when the waves are good, you can pop over to one of the surf places, rent a board for an hour and just pop in the water, because it's beautiful. And the sunset's right over there, right across where you just saw the ocean. Beautiful.
So what's so neat, and I think what a lot of my viewers are, thinking or saying is like, oh, well, he's so lucky and that's so cool. And, and it is kind of cool because you're getting to do your life and do your business and do your work and talk with me and function and have fun and enjoy your life at the same time. And I think there was a time for a lot of people that thought, my play time and my work time are completely separate, and I have to work really hard to earn my joyful time. And I think what we're talking about, this live exceptional life, is that, they're both one and the same. What you do for fun and what you enjoy and what you love is absolutely integrated with your work and your passion.
100%.
Yeah. So tell us about that. How did you get to that place?
I got there from a point that was the opposite. Like most of us do, actually. We get raised in an environment where obviously our parents want us to do well. They want to protect us to a certain degree. So if we don't have surroundings or an environment where we grow up, the society, our parents that already live that, then we will face in the beginning, I believe, a more protective environment where they want us to go into a corporate job, maybe because it's safe, it gets you up to a few years ago, you could get a lifetime contract where I live. So in Germany, this is still, I'm German. This is still very common up till maybe 5 years ago. Actually, a bit more before the big crisis of 2007-8. You could easily just get a lifetime contract with a big company. So your parents would push you to, to do that after studies, and you'd be in that environment, and then you would work your butt off for the majority of your life, and then maybe retire with a little bit of energy left to, to enjoy the life of choosing what you want to do.
And
But
right,
that's not how I picture it.
Right, and what you said was safe. Like you used that word safe. Like our parents really want us to be safe, and I think a lot of people who are watching, may be feeling like, well, that's a big step. Doing what he does or doing what JB does, like that's really out there, and that necessarily isn't safe. And so, talk a little bit about that, because there is that point, and I don't know about for you, but for me, where doing the other doesn't feel safe anymore mentally, or it's not.
It flips.
Yeah.
It's true, because safety, what in the world really, what is safe? Not much is safe anymore, and that's good. I think it's good, because life is about surfing the tide, right? Surfing the waves. You don't know what's the next wave going to be like, right? Even if you're in one of those jobs and the crisis comes along, suddenly the whole world is different, right? And people don't give you a lifetime contract anymore. So how safe is such thing really? Not that safe after all, right? So if you build a business that is in your control, where you control the risk to the degree that you can never completely control. But if you build yourself to a degree where you know that if something goes down, you can quite easily hop over and do something else, then you're still exposed to risk, but you're in control. You're not having other people choose what your life looks like, really. So that's the way I chose. So I left university. I did a business degree, and I left university with that possibility of going into a more corporate life. And where I went to school in Vienna, Austria, it was still very much, my surroundings were very much still geared towards, this career-oriented, traditional and safe environment. But I had this chance to go into a consulting job in San Francisco, and I had the opportunity to go into a startup job in the Netherlands. Both not my homes, one a bit further away, but basically instead of going for the safe, more, I guess, prestigious option, I opted for the startup life, which was my first training in becoming an entrepreneur and dealing with this uncertainty, flexibility also, and taking ownership straight away, right? Looking for my mentors, looking for clients every day, right? These things. So I did that, and I liked it. And then, before that, I had been in corporate environments a bunch of times, but I opted for the more riskier, lifestyle. And then I created my own business, and I integrated, to come back around to what you asked initially. I managed to build a business that lets me not make a division between the life I love and the business I own. And currently I'm in 2 roles that both allow me to do that. And I serve 2 types of people. And my joy in doing that comes from having the life that I have, which is fully designed by myself and not by some guidelines that society set or somebody else made, and I'm just following, right?
Yeah, so beautifully said. My joy comes from designing my own life, and I absolutely love that. I always talk about being a lifestyle designer, because I want people to design their own life, design the life that fits for them. No one can really, put on a piece of paper what is going to work for me and going to work for you, because we're so different. Yep. And so designing your life is so magical. Was there like that pinnacle point where you were like, I'm just not going to live like this anymore, I want this, like that junction in the road? Was there like a memory, you really think about that?
Yeah, there was. So I was in this corporate job for a while. I was maybe 6 weeks into it. And it's a big company that everybody knows, right? It's one of those big companies that you've heard of, and that operates on a very traditional level. They do industry. They provide parts for large car manufacturers and for security systems in houses and that kind of stuff, right? I was working there in the marketing department, and I've always been the type of energy that's a bit more disruptive, and I think the marketing department usually is not a bad place for that. So day in, day out, I would come with my crazy ideas, and I would kind of challenge people, because that's me, right? And in the beginning, it worked quite well, and then one day I come into the office. I think it was a Monday, and I opened the door. So I had done a few things, and I opened the office to my boss's office, right? And I I come in, and the first thing he says is, "Alex, let it go." And I was like, I didn't understand what he meant. And he was like, this type of energy, it doesn't work here. I've been here for 40 years. You got to change this, right? You got to, essentially he said, you got to adapt. You got to adapt to this environment, and then you can be successful, right? So he was basically trying to form me, right? And it's fine, because he meant well. It wasn't an evil move or anything. He really wanted me to succeed. He saw that what I did was too disruptive, was pissing people off, really. And and that's the moment I realized, okay, maybe I'm not made for this. And it's good, like it's really good, but because it was this invitation. I always think of it in form of doors. I also think I'm a door, and most people in the world are doors. You walk around and there's a door of opportunity. It kind of shakes you in a way that it opens up, and you just have to take that step through it.
What a beautiful gift he gave you, actually.
Exactly, huge gift. And I realized right then that this environment was not exactly what I wanted. Now, what I do now, one of the two things I do now is actually helping companies that have this mindset transform it to a more productive mindset that works in this world, in a volatile, world where agility and risk taking is actually needed. So I've realized what it's like, and I'm doing my job now to take that and turn it into something more timely, I think.
Mm-hmm. I love your analogy about doors, because I recently had sort of an epiphany about doors. I mean, I used to think that I was like in a circle, and there was like a door like all around me, like in a circle, and I would just be like, well, I could go in this door, or I could go in this door, I could go in this door, and I would sort of like stay in the bull ring because I didn't choose any of the doors. And what I realized is, if I just went through one door, on the other side of that door would be a whole bunch more doors. So it wasn't like I was trying to keep that circle of doors all there. If I just went through that door, on the other side would be more doors. On the other side would be more doors.
I love this. This reminds me so much about, we had something coming up in the event that we just finished 2 days ago. And it was basically boiled down to, there's some magic in taking action, right? You can ponder and think about which route to take and which sequence to design, and all of these things, making it perfect. My society, my culture is really about making it perfect. Germans are well known for that, and it's definitely true to some degree. But there's something about this entrepreneurial, taking the first step and then seeing how it goes, and then polishing, refining, optimizing. Because if you never take the step, you might still be in this corporate environment that might or might not help you by the age of 40, 45, 50, and maybe you feel like you've missed out.
Yeah, well, that's what I love about people like you, because you've just segued right into what I want to talk about, because people watching, they're going to be like, okay, you two, I love what you're saying, but what can I do? And so I don't want to overwhelm people, but if you could give my viewers one action step, because I'm with you, it's all about action. Just even, getting on this call, we just took the action. We don't know what's going to come of it, but we took the action, and here we are, and here's our results. So if you could give my viewers one action concept that they could take home with them and really put into play immediately, they don't have to read, you know, a giant book, they don't have to, like, you know, get a big course, something they can do today. One action.
An action item. There's so many.
I know.
I need to choose, because what I sometimes, if people ask me what's my role, I tell them that I'm the enemy of procrastination. So and procrastination can be so many things. I'm not sure if you know the book The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. Amazing book that lays out pretty much like all the possibilities of procrastination that we do or do not see in our lives, right? One thing you can do.
Well, I love that about procrastination, because, you know, many of us procrastinate easily. You know, we get looped into our day because we're procrastinating. And then we sort of get into a self-worth thing because we're like, we didn't do it, and then we're procrastinating. And so, you know, procrastination is actually, I mean, what did you call yourself? The procrastination.
The enemy of procrastination.
I love it.
So I would shake people. I mean, verbally usually. I don't shake people. Verbally, I would take them and go like, wake up, right? And this is my role, right? It's just they have it inside of them. Everybody has this inside. You don't need people to tell you what to do. You need people to kind of shake you a little bit.
Yeah.
And we all do, and that's what mentors are for. The information, the knowledge, the intuition is inside of us. It's just about awakening it.
Mm-hmm. So
for me, there's a bunch.
Yeah, I want to say, I mean, I love it. Again, so for the viewers, like, I would say, like, what are you procrastinating about today? What do you know that is your procrastination go-to? You know, what is the thing that you keep procrastinating? And Alex and I are both going to challenge you to, like, go and push through it today and take one of your favorite procrastinations and just say, I'm going to do that today. I'm going to do that. If it's like last night, I was like, I'm going to yoga, and then I procrastinated. And then the next thing you know, it was past the time. I couldn't get there in time for the class. So what can you do today that would not, you know, not you, Alex, but my viewers, what can you do today to push through with that one thing that you've been procrastinating about that's just really been on your plate over and over again, and you feel terrible because you keep procrastinating about it? So if you could write that down and then decide what are some action steps you can do to make it through that procrastination. I think that's awesome. And you know what comes on the other side of procrastination? When people stop procrastinating, what's the result? Alex, come on, tell us.
I mean, this action, it just turns into possibilities, right? You know, I always think of it, most people, and if you haven't done so, most people do it for sure. Most people know this commencement speech by Steve Jobs, right? Where he talks about so many things, but one of the things that stayed in my mind, go right ahead and watch this if you haven't, YouTube, and then just put in the keywords. He says the dots connect afterwards, right? He uses this example of how he went to this random course of calligraphy, and then years later, he would have the first OS that had beautiful, you know, writing in it. Something like that. It's been a while since I watched it.
Yeah, I saw that too. It was beautiful. He said that about connecting the dots after.
Right. And guess what? In order to connect dots, you need to make dots, right? So if you procrastinate, just picture this. I could do something right now, and then it's done and something beautiful has come out of it, right? And at 5 minutes, I'm walking down this promenade, and I would bounce into someone, and if that had come to life, something could work with that, right? There could be a conversation about this, or I could suddenly meet the person that could help me evolve it, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if I hadn't done this just 5 minutes ago, it wouldn't be in the world. So guess what? That opportunity to make something out of it, to connect another dot, it would not be there, right? If that opportunity isn't there to take it further, then down the line, all these other next dots would also not exist. And so I'm actually a big fan, and this is maybe my biggest tool. I once started, I don't even know when, I started doing things right away. So, right, you know how we have lists, and obviously I have to-do lists as well, but if there's the slightest chance that I can do something today, we talk about something and I say, oh, you know what? I'll connect you with that person, right? I'll take him while I say, just give me 1 minute. I'll do it right now.
Okay,
You
wait,
know?
wait. I have to tell people just something. So recently I was in Berlin with Alex, and this is the best story because we met for lunch, and just randomly I said, I totally want to meet so-and-so, and she's in Berlin. And this was a very well-known person who was in my industry and someone that I felt that I needed to connect with. This is 100%. We finished lunch. Alex and I got on the pavement and we just started walking. He was on his phone and he's like calling people, texting people. Do you know this person? Do you know this person? He was on her Facebook page. He was seeing if he had friends with her. We were knocking on her. We went to see people. I mean, that is the absolute truth of how we had an idea. There's something I said I wanted. And this amazing human being in front of me just said, let's go do it. And we did it. And we had so much fun. It was so beautiful. And we ended up seeing things and going places and eating along the way and seeing the wall and and it was fantastic, but we were taking action, and you are so right. It was so immediate. We had a want and we went after it.
It's true. It was beautiful. I recall. And this is a big one. So I've seen people starting to do exactly that. And a large part, like they just increase momentum right away, right? So few weeks or even days later, their lives would be on a completely different gear just by that. It's no magic. There's nothing magical in it. It's just doing it right away. And then there's these larger goals, right, that you just can't really do right now. But you can always do one first step right away.
Mm-hmm.
One first step, and that's gonna, the domino is gonna start falling.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the biggest one, because I think that's the difference to how I did things before. I would write it down, even the smallest thing, and I would have a list of a list of things that need to, and then you start prioritizing, and prioritizing goes into,
Right.
so
And,
it
and
takes
then you get a book that you can put your lists in, and then you get a computer program that you can write your lists down, and so they're all color coded. And then you get an app that takes
Yep.
your list, and then you can divide your list on your app. And you
Yep,
get
been
the
there.
lists.
Right. And you can usually get, I would say 50% of the things you can just do right now, and it transforms a lot, and it makes you feel amazing, because it feels like half of your list is gone. I mean, in fact, half of your list is gone, so you feel exactly what's happening, and you feel the momentum, and suddenly your day starts to roll. It's really like going, right? So that's a big one for me.
Yeah,
That's
I
maybe the
totally
biggest.
agree. I mean, if you look at the emotional impact, I mean, when you procrastinate and you miss out and you don't do what you want to do, you feel so disappointed and down and upset with yourself. When you just take a little bit of action and you just do even one little thing, and you're like, oh, that felt great. That felt exciting. I now have energy. Now I want to do the next thing. So just energetically, it's so obvious, the feeling, if you just look and think about your own life. If when I procrastinate, I don't feel good. When I try something, even if it's scary and unknown, at least I made the effort. Eventually I feel like pretty great, pretty awesome.
It's actually addictive to a degree where, you start doing these things, and then at some point in the day, you're like, I haven't accomplished that much. I wonder what else I can do. But in fact, you've done so many things, days earlier, or weeks earlier, you would have not even done half of them. And now it feels like you haven't really accomplished it, because you level up. Suddenly, these little achievements that get you places, really, they take off, and they become so, they transform. It's
You're
addiction.
so bang on. Yeah, you're so bang on. It's so true. It's so true. So tell me just a little bit before we end, how can, if some of the people watching want to play with you or interact with you or get to know you, or actually sit on that promenade that you're sitting on and enjoy what you're doing, can you tell us a little bit about how they can join you and how you can just inspire them, how you've inspired me?
So the easiest is, social profiles, right? You can obviously follow me. I usually put out content in German and English. And my German content is mostly for organizational leaders. My English content tends to be more for people who want to take it to the next level career-wise, especially in terms of their own business, they've had their business for a while, but they want to get off potential stagnation or something like that. Usually what we do, I partner up with a person you know as well, Jimmy Noreen. That's why I'm here right now. We just finished a mastermind that we were doing. We do this about every 2 months, and in this beautiful place, it allows us to do amazing things.
Okay, wait. Sorry, this is the blonde in me. Tell us about the Himalayas.
Yeah, so we started doing this mastermind. It's a 3-day seminar with a group of 5 to 8 people. So it's very intense. It's a tribe that we select to make this bonding really special. And we started it here, and it's a phenomenal place for all these things that I mentioned. And then we realized that there's different levels of phenomenon, right? And if you're in the right place, you can do unbelievable things, right? We realized that if people want to take it to the next level, there's a bunch of things that help the progress, help the next step, the epiphany, right? Mainly you can do, repetition gets you to upgrading, but also memorable experiences get you to upgrading, right? And we realized, okay, if we want to get to the next level, we want to take it to the next level in terms of space, right? So we chose Nepal, the roof of the world, literally, to do our next mastermind, which is happening in April. And again, we're selecting exceptional people to join us. And we're doing a 9-day, 10-day program where we mastermind, where we look at bonding, getting people together that are on the same wavelength, and just have an amazing time together. So that's what's happening next. And it's great to work with these people, because the mastermind concept is obviously not just a seminar where you have like a coach and it's one directional, communication. You sit there with your notepad and you take notes and you possibly improve. It's all about amazing energy, activities that push you, and connections that make you think on a deeper level, vulnerability, opening up and connecting on a level that lets you really make progress. That's our role in this, and we're loving it. Yeah. And that's kind of, this ties back, right? That's the essence, doing things that you love, right? Seeing people come alive. That's what I love.
It's so amazing. And that is the definition of live exceptional. And I so wish I could be there. I'm like, how do I get me and my kids up there?
Yes.
And I'm like, do I have to do some training to get up there? And I don't really like the cold weather. And so, but I'm so impressed.
You'd be surprised. 4,500 meters is about the weather you see here in the background now. Wow. In the nights, it's a bit colder, but it's about roughly 20 degrees Celsius during daytime.
I love it. Now, I am always in awe of your magnificence. I think you are exceptional. I will share with all of you how to get a hold of Alex. I will put all of the links and the information when we post this, so you can see all the different things that he is doing. And most importantly, I think I wanted to really express that, even on the other side of the world, in another culture, in even another generation, and we're all, living with the same passion, the same desires, the same wants. It doesn't matter what country we come from, what we speak, what gender we are, what age we are. We really are living in an age where living exceptional is possible for all of us, with the digital era, with the possibilities, with the open borders, with all the things that are happening. We can do anything. You can do anything you want to do. You can live exceptional. And Alex is just an expression of that. So thank you, my darling. Love you with all my heart. Have a beautiful day. Hug all those amazing other souls that are with you, and live exceptional. Take care, my sweet.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.